Good afternoon, I'm Doug, owner of Prestige Motorsports. So the idea for this video is to take you to the next step of the purchasing process. How does that look? What do we need to know from you? And how do we go from a base motor to complete turnkey engine or complete vehicle package? So we'll start with the small block 383 as a good example. It has the carburetor and ignition on it, but generally when people call, they are interested in a certain power number. They're after a 383 with 500 horsepower or a 582 with 700 horsepower. Basically, most people are going to purchase based on a power number. So when you first call and you explain to us kind of what you're going to do with the vehicle, what is the overall use, intended use, we're going to decipher at that point whether 500 horsepower is right for you, or maybe we'll back it down a little, make it a bit better driver, that sort of thing. So that's the reason why on our website, eBay, and several other outlets that we advertise in, most of the time the pricing is for the base engine. And base engine is going to mean a long block complete from the oil pan to the intake manifold. So this way, when we establish which power level we're going to start with, maybe base motor changes. Maybe you want a Chevrolet valve cover, a polished intake manifold, different oil pan. We'll make those changes to the base engine and it will reflect on the base price. Before I go too much further, this happens more times than not on Fords than Chevrolets, but the oil pan. You may ask yourself, you're buying an engine, why would the engine builder need to know what kind of suspension you have in the vehicle? It's very, very important. Because we build cars here, we understand that we need to know the suspension system in order to select the correct oil pan. So this one has what they call a double hump pan or a rear sump or a fox body pan. It's labeled many different things. The key is that's for a Mustang 2 style front suspension. So let's say we got a 68 Mustang, very important to know whether it's got strut towers still in it, running factory type suspension, or if we've modified it to a rack and pinion. So those are things that we need to know on the front side so we can select the correct oil pan. Nothing worse than getting the engine and it doesn't fit. Okay, so when we get to the turnkey items, basically we start with the carburetor or fuel injection. I'll say fuel delivery source. Fuel injection has become very, very popular. So we do bolt-on throttle bodies, multi-point fuel injection, and many others. At that point, we'll decide carburetor or fuel injection. We'll add that, the ignition system, the ignition wires. You have choices of colors on all of that stuff. So the more specific you are in the wants or needs for the project, the quicker we can turn the quote around for you. We may not even need to talk on the phone if you're very descriptive of what you're after. So moving on from that point, we would get into what kind of pulleys and accessories. So you say you want a turnkey engine. What does that really mean? Some people might call this turnkey because it's got a carburetor and the ignition. I call it a turnkey minus because it's missing pulleys, it's missing a transmission. You may have this stuff, and that's perfectly fine. If you don't, then turnkey, we need to know, are we including pulleys and accessories? If so, are we doing AC? Are we adding power steering? Would you like it in black or polished? Several options. So, you know, it does help to do a little bit of research on the backside of pulley kits that are available. We've got a lot of information on our website. So beyond that, because we build cars here, we're very, very detailed in everything that we give you. So one, when we do the quote, it's going to be an itemized list of absolutely everything, down to the belt that we're using, the thermostat housing. Most people wouldn't tell you what thermostat. They just say it's got a water outlet. We're using a high-flow Milodon style thermostat. It's important that you know that. Everything has a specific price. Sometimes it's a little bit more. So it's important for you to be able to take that part number, the data or description, Google it for yourselves so you understand what you're purchasing. We go far above and beyond just what is really looked at as a turnkey crate engine. So what does that mean? We have this pulley system. So you want pulleys and accessories. This is what we give you. Looks great. When you go put it in the car, what else do I need? You need an AC line manifold adapter so you can build AC lines to this pump. If I don't sell that to you, you're going to have to search for it. down here at the power steering pump, we don't have a reservoir to put fluid in. We include a reservoir, we include the correct fittings, and we include a line kit that you can build to fit the application. You might have, on this one actually is a good example, power steering pump is on the opposite side of the motor. Usually it's located on the driver's side. So running lines and fittings, you're gonna have to build it to suit the vehicle. Those are all the small details throughout the entire engine. What kind of pilot bearing, if we're doing a transmission package, what pilot bearing, what clutch, what bolts. Bolts are important, flywheel bolts. We use nothing but ARP. So there will be a very, very detailed and itemized list of what you're getting, all the way down to the color of the wires, color of the block, anything that you want to customize on here. Okay, so I talked about it a lot here. Just want to recap, basically, the more information you can give us, the better off it is, because we can provide an estimate much quicker and more accurately to exactly what you need. What I want you to understand is how to read the estimate. So, as I mentioned before, we start with the core long block. So there'll be a block or a list of products, all individually priced, and a group total. So we'll have a group total for the long block. The fuel source and ignition is another group itemized out with a group total. Same thing with the pulleys and accessories. If we add the transmission package, all of those will be groups. So very, very important that you understand ours is likely going to be higher than our competitors at the end of the day. And the reason is for all the little things I said we add to it. You know, those will all add up in the end. But the key thing to know is there won't be surprises when you put it in, okay? Those surprises slow you down, cost you more money in the end. So if we can nip all that in the butt on the front side, the better off the experience will be for you. So two important things to know here too. We have a 100% price match guarantee. We are going to compare apples to apples. You have to send us an estimate from somebody else, and we will not only guide you but explain the differences so you can make an educated decision. And number two is that we have pioneered the ultimate turnkey package, meaning everything from radiator to the fuel tank and everything in between. We are probably one of few companies that not only manufacture a great engine product line, sell parts, but we build some of the nicest, highest end classic cars you could imagine. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. So just remember, when perfection counts, Prestige Motorsports.